Here we are. Welcome, welcome everyone to our Unlimited Network Mastermind. Today is Saturday morning, November 28th. Welcome, welcome, and here we are, all together to keep growing in our prosperity consciousness, in our mastering how we create our dreams, and to really understand the laws of the universe. So really, at the end, to master the creators that we are. And this mastermind is really started being dedicated to entrepreneurs, meaning if you can mute your microphone will be great, so we don't have sounds in the back here. Thank you. And dedicated to conscious entrepreneurs, meaning the people that are ready to allow more in their life consciously, and that want to do it in alignment with our true nature, consciously, you know, with our spirit, with our true nature. And we are, you know, for more than almost 2 years together here every Saturday. So I just want to acknowledge our perseverance and to share the gratitude. This week was a week of gratitude for getting together every Saturday and to really nurture ourselves in this direction, support each other in this direction. So I know I have a group of people that I can come in and they are going to support my dreams and my pull. You know, I feel that call inside of manifesting financial freedom, and I do want to do it in an easy, graceful way. And I love to be surrounded by people that, you know, support that. There is a lot of collective consciousness outside that doesn't yet. So I'm happy to be part of this and to know that when we change one by one here, we can change our world too. So welcome to everyone here, and welcome to the ones that you are on the other side. I know I have some friends that are seeing through unlimitednetwork.com /mastermind. You have this video live right there every Saturday, and also the recording during the week. Now, if you want to be in the panel, like we are several of us here, you need to email Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com, and then you will get a special link to share with us, so you can be here in the panel. And besides more, without any more delay here, we are studying right now our book with Money and the Law of Attraction from Abraham Hicks. We are going to begin today on the page 144. And last week, I mean, we are realizing, I think, or I am realizing with this book, you know, that I can stay focused on money and prosperity and but if I do not feel good, if I don't vibrate good physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, I'm not going to be a magnet of anything. So the idea here is to really master the capacity that we have to feel good, to allow our well-being. And in this section, we are studying, you know, a little bit about our physical body and perspectives of health, weight, and mind. And, you know, the way that we work here is Doc Fran, that is one of our leaders here, is going to read. And then please take notes of, write on your questions. You have a little place for you to write questions if you are just witnessing this instead of being on the panel here. But don't doubt to open your microphone to share whatever it is that you need to share, because what we want really is to integrate this work. It's not just to read it, to become it, okay? So let's take the time that is necessary for that, and welcome again, everyone. And Doc Fran, if you are ready, we can start reading. Are you there?
I am. I'm chewing a piece of the most delicious bacon I've ever had.
Oh, okay. Well, bon appetit.
I thought it would have a little bit more lead in.
Oh.
And I think Jay's trying to join us. I saw him. I sent him the thing to copy and paste the link into the address bar, so he should be with us anytime.
Okay, great.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that you all took time out to absolutely manifest your gratitude all day on Thursday with family and friends, and I know we certainly did. And we all have so much to be grateful for. Even if we don't believe we do. So you can work on that and find something to be grateful for. And you'd be amazed. There's an infinite possibility pool out there for gratefulness. So it's a fabulous day here in southern Florida. We're going to be racing sailboats again today. I'm quite excited. And I'm really pleased with I'm sorry, Arnie. Yes.
You excited about racing sailboats? Really?
I know, I know. Well, I know. It's a lot of people believe that that's sort of like watching grass grow, but it really isn't. It's amazingly exciting when you're in the thick of it out there. So,
Oh well, I love it.
Today, I love our new format, Dr. Monica, where we can just, if you have a thought that's stimulated by what I'm reading, please unmute yourself and start the discussion right there. I think you're right that having a contemporaneous discussion on a point that's important is superior, and it does help set it in to our subconscious, and that is the point of the exercise. And
people can even ask questions online too.
Yeah, and then Arnie can field those for you. So those of you that are fans out there that are here for learning, please, we'd love to hear. Everyone knows something that nobody else knows. So don't ever hesitate to voice what's on your mind. And this is a really fabulous section. So I have a suspicion that we're going to actually stimulate a good bit of discussion as we even move through the paragraphs here. So, and as a backdrop, the key truth that I have learned and experienced now over the last year on an increasingly manifested basis. We've read it a million times, but it just says that, do what you love what you do, and be in joy. And when you can be in joy, all good things happen. And so if you consciously work on simply feeling a state of mind called joy, happiness, it's an innate gift from our Creator, from our source. Every one of us has it. We've learned over the last couple of weeks that the only impediment to the abundant flow of everything we say we want is our own thinkingness about it subconsciously. When we have our subconscious thinking aligned with our source and our non-physical beingness, then only good manifestations can occur in your life. So before I start to read this morning, I'd like to take just 30 seconds, and I'd like each and every person listening to the call here this morning to close your eyes and just visualize yourself being in a state of perfect joy, feeling gratitude well up in your heart, feeling enthusiasm, excitement, bliss, and pure joy at the pure perfection that each and every one of us are as endowed by our Creator. Fabulous. All right, let's get into our teachings here today. What if I saw myself as perfect? Jerry asks. So couldn't we look at our weight then and our state of mental ability or talent in the same way? Could each of us see ourselves as perfect? Abraham responds, we are not necessarily encouraging you to look at whatever your current state is and proclaim it as perfect, because you will always be striving for something that is just beyond what is. But finding aspects of your current experience that feel good when you focus upon them will cause you to align with the perspective of your inner being, who is always focused upon your well-being. We encourage you to feel for the agreement between your thoughts about your body and your inner being's thoughts about your body, rather than trying to get the conditions of your body to agree with conditions of other bodies that you see around you. I love that line. I mean, you know, we also have learned and been trained that the only person we should compare ourselves to is ourselves, and constantly strive to be a better version of ourself with each successive thought or event. Pushing against unwanted attracts more unwanted. We could probably stop right there and get comments, because how many of you have experienced that phenomenon where we seem so damn good at manifesting things we don't want, and yet it seems so difficult to have the exact same facility to manifest the things we say we want? Abraham responds, as you are understanding that you are creating through your thoughts rather than through your action, you will accomplish many more of your desires with far less effort. In the absence of struggle, you will have more fun. You are offering thought in every waking moment, and so achieving a propensity to positive, good-feeling thoughts will serve you extremely well. You were born into a society that began warning you against unwanted things as soon as you arrived, and over time, most of you have taken on a guarded stance. We have a war against drugs, and a war against AIDS, and a war against cancer. Most of you really believe that the way to get what you do want is to defeat what you do not want, and so give you so much of your attention towards pushing away from that which you do not want. Where if you could see the law of attraction as we see it, if you could accept yourselves as the attractors by virtue of the thought that you are holding, you would understand what a backward approach most of you are taking. As you say, I'm sick and I want not to be sick, so I'll beat this illness, I'll take action and I'll defeat this illness, you are, from your position of guardedness and defensiveness and negative emotion, holding on to that illness. My attention to lack attracts more lack. Abraham. Every subject is really two subjects. There is the subject of what you are wanting, and there is the subject of its lack. Regarding your body, since every thought that you think is filtered through your perspective of this body, if this body does not feel the way you want it to feel or look the way you want it to look, it is very natural that a large number of your thoughts, a very unbalanced proportion of your thoughts, would be slanted toward the lack side of the equation rather than toward the truly desired side of the equation. From your place of lack, you will attract only more of that. And that is the reason most diets do not work. You are aware of your fat. You are aware of your body looking the way you do not want it to look. And so when it gets bad enough that you cannot stand it anymore, either from your own perspective or because others are scowling at you, then you say, I can't bear this negative place anymore. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff that I do not want. And yet, your attention is given to the stuff that you do not want, so you hold it to you. The way to get to where you want to be is to give your full attention to what you do want, not to give your attention to what you do not want.
I would love to stop here 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear my echo. Maybe we need to mute your microphone. Yeah, let's see. One more time, Doc Fran.
Oh, yeah, it didn't take. Oh.
Perfect. Yes. I just want to stop here 1 second because I think that this is so powerful, so simple, and at the same time, you know, like how do we apply that? And I want to recall, you know, the movie The Secret, when we see that guy that has this crash, you know, in the airplane and is completely paralyzed, and I don't know if you remember, but I mean, it was like super shocking to me. And it's so true that when I personally feel bad in my body, I mean, the thoughts that are in alignment with that feeling bad, let's say our bad thoughts are, you know, like kind of dense and negative, and you know, why is this way, blah, blah, blah. So for me, to develop the capacity that we have inside to stay focused on what I want, just the end of the sentence that you read, Dr. Fran, to stay focused on what I want instead of what I don't want is mastery to me. So every time that I want to lose some weight is because I notice that I am a little more fat than what I would like to be. And my mind goes only to that aspect. It's so interesting, you know. So thanks to these books and to our teams here, to our reunions here, it's like I'm really discerning, you know. Okay, so I start to understand that it's really the power that I have to imagine and see myself and love my body, skinny, healthy, beautiful, you know, like radiant and all that stuff. So I just wanted to see that the example of The Secret of that movie, when that guy is in bed completely paralyzed and he has only his mind to work on, he's really working on visualizing himself walking, you know. And how can you do that when you cannot even move a finger? So I just want to highlight that, because for me it's like, oh my gosh, what a mastery of mind to really stay focused on what I want instead of what I have, you know, or what I don't want at this moment. So I wanted to highlight that. Thank you, guys.
Well, I have something here too, that it's a good time to remind ourselves on what's called creative questions. There are two parts of the thinking process that we don't normally think about. So, you know, we've been talking about I don't want to be fat, or I want to be skinny, I don't want to have pain, I want to be pain-free. So the way we go about that is when, as you guys already said, is we feel overweight, so we don't feel good, so we think the thought, I'm fat, I don't want to be fat. Or we can think, I want to be skinny. Now the quick way with that is to put it in question form. So if I ask myself, how can I not be fat? Or how can I be skinny? How can I be at my ideal weight? How do I feel when I'm in my ideal weight? Then we get into the actual experience of it, rather than the old thought, why am I so fat? Which will, and then supposedly, why am I so fat? Now I need to not be fat. I need to lose my weight. So then we get, I actually had an interesting story. One of my students, she learned about creative questions, and she and became very good at it. And then I didn't see her for a year. And then I saw, what happened? You know, you were doing so well. And then she said, well, I had the creative questions. How can I be more successful? And then her answer was, you go and get a degree in the university. So then she got stuck on the answer. So she spent a year in university not realizing that she was just answering a question instead of she was in the answer instead of in the question. So then she came back to, how else do I feel when I am, how else can I be successful? So going back to the question, if we have the question that says, how can I not be fat, or how am I skinny? How do I feel when I'm not fat? How do I feel when I'm at my ideal weight? They feel very, very different, those questions. So instead of, like we said here, not to focus on the negative, focus on what we want to get. And questions is a good way to do it. Okay.
Thank you, Arne. And this is where I see, you know, the tricky part for us, because I totally understand what you say right now, but you know, to detach from the negative is what I would like to acknowledge us, that we are capable of doing, even if we hold it for 30 seconds, you know, or 10, whatever, but we are progressing in that direction, you know, that we have the power to choose what we want to ask. Arne, it's so beautiful what you said, you know. So thank you. I hope that you had finished your bacon, Dr. Fran.
No, I still have it. Oh, I did. I didn't even realize it. Anyway, Monica, I'd love that example, and that was one of the most powerful parts of the Secret movie for me as well, and really drove home, in my opinion, the reality that we do create our own manifestations and our illusions of reality through our thoughts. So, and Arnie, it is a great way, setting it up in questions, and the creative questions are a very ingenious method that you guys have developed to do that for yourself, to help incorporate these truths into your subconscious. So for our listeners out there, if you haven't experienced the creative questions, or if you have a question, a curiosity about what they are, just, communicate with Arnie through unlimitednetwork.com, Arnie at unlimitednetwork.com, and he'll send you information and examples of his creative question cards. They're great. What really keyed in for me on this, I just want to take a few minutes and talk about attention units, because we can think that we have our attention on whatever we're consciously focusing on right this minute, and yet Nancy and I studied Dianetics and Scientology for 13 years, and they spend an awful lot of time training us on the phenomenon of attention units. And we have an infinite number of attention units, of course, because we have an infinity of everything in our life. And these can get stuck in incidences that we deem unpleasant. So, and there's a whole technology associated with removing the emotional charge, the mental charge, because it's just, just like a rock in a stream that slows the flow of water through that stream. An upset on any subject, any event in your life leaves a mental rock in the flow of your consciousness. And that rock will stay there until you remove it. And so when you have an accumulation of attention units stuck in past events, and bear in mind that we've also seen that all of us have had millions of past lives. And so we have an accumulation of stuck attention units accumulated over an infinity, an eternity of beingness on a spiritual level, that we can actually recover through directed action in our current physical lifetime. It's a brilliant thing, and it's a lot of fun, and it really works. So, if you have a lot of stuck attention units on something, that is an action and a focus that you need to do almost on a regular basis, because it's fun. You know when you locate them, and you know when you discharge them. And we can do a little exercise together sometime if we want to actually help you locate and discharge one. But the point here is we spent a lot of time talking about forgiveness. And that is why forgiveness is so critically important in our thinkingness. When we forgive, we remove stuck attention units, because we are literally forgiving the upset that allowed ourselves to attach attention units to it. And who's the most important being in the universe for each of us to forgive? Why, it's clearly this obviously flawed, imperfect being that we are. And we only have that sensation of being flawed and imperfect because we have created that in order to create an individual consciousness driven by our egos. So it sets up this eternal dichotomy between the spiritual laws of the universe and existence and the physical laws of this illusory universe that we exist in. And there is the fun of being infinitely reborn, because it is a game that we can play over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum, and we obviously never get tired of playing it. Sorry about that, but that's fun. All right, planting fear seeds does grow more fear. Wow, now there's a shocking thought. Jerry says, a dear friend, my mentor in business, volunteered to be a part of a medical study. He said that even though he was in brilliant health, he was willing to participate if it could be of value to others, because so many men his age in that area were dying from a certain disease. Well, it seemed like only a matter of weeks before we received a message from him that he had been diagnosed with the illness. And now he's no longer in physical form, but he didn't seem to have a fear of the disease that he created in his body by merely focusing on it. Abraham responds, it was his attention to it. In other words, it was his intent to be of value for others. And so he allowed them to probe and poke and look. And in the probing and poking and looking, he received enough stimulation of thought from the others to make him aware of the possibility. Not only of the possibility, the probability. They planted within him the seed of probability. And then with the probing and the poking and the looking, his body responded with what then became the balance of his thought. It's a wonderful example that you have offered, because that disease was not within him until the attention to the disease was within him. But once the attention to the disease was within him, then his body responded in kind. The potential for wellness or illness is always within you. The thoughts you choose determine which you experience and to what degree you experience it. You know, keep that in mind when we as parents are constantly trying to warn our children about all kinds of potential dangers, problems, challenges, injuries, etc., that they have absolutely no attention on whatsoever. So, in our well-meaningness, are we really achieving our objective, or are we really implanting our kids with the very fears that we now as adults are trying to eradicate within ourselves?
It's so true, Doc Frank. I just love what you said right now, because I think that we do with ourselves to begin with, you know. But I mean, you know, this to realize, to really check inside, if I am coming forward from love, safety, security, oneness, you know, spiritual presence, let's say, or if I engage with my life from fear. And like you said, that gets reflected with my kids, with my environment, with the fear that, you know, negative energy is going to attack me, whatever, you know. But really to distinguish if we come from fear or from love, from this safety that our presence is, our well-being is already that safety, eternal well-being, all is well, you know, whatever. So to start to really acknowledge that and to embody that more and more, I think is a powerful key. But I mean, this is so evident. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I love this format, because I can feel that this is actually imprinting the principles in ourselves by consciously discussing it. And Celia, did you unmute yourself?
Yes, Dr. Fran, because when you read right now about the attention, you know, issue, it can also be applied, of course, to business, or applying it to health right now, but this can be applied directly to any business or transactions situation or negotiations. I'm going through that right now, that I feel that, you know, if I put myself in, you know, in a space of protection without paranoia, but just you know, being very, very conscious that not only myself in the consciousness of the wanting and not the lack, but also other people's attention. If it's negative, you know, it can affect the whole process. So in this, we have to be so careful, so delicate, and like you just said, Monica, you know, you cannot apply fear as a solution. You have to apply love as energy, basically, because love as energy. So I think energy goes directly related to these situations. You know, I'm experiencing it right now. You know, it's the only way, and I'm thriving, but being very conscious in every second, not only of the attention that I put to the problem or the situation, but the attention that is put from outside, and being so conscious of that, not getting into the lack, into the fear, and then creating the disease or the problem in the business, in the negotiation. It's the same. I mean, the body and the business situation is the same. To me, it's an archetype. We're talking about the same energetic situation, you know. Like, so this is
well said, businessman. I love it. Yes, exactly.
Well, we do have challenges because the habit of the way we used to deal with the things is pulling, and then we're also being pulled. Well, if I'm not gonna recognize what I see, you want me to put my head in the sand, and pretend what is not. All those kind of arguments comes up in the head, which pulls us into the habit of the old. So it takes a lot of consciousness and will. I mean, God will, capital W, will to choose a new something that goes against all grains and all reasoning for us. So it's the courageous people choose new.
Arne, that reminds me of the line from the song. No one said it would be easy, but no one said it would be this hard. No, I just absolutely love the exchange and dialogue contemporaneously here, because it truly is the secret. And Monica, you hit right on the solution, and that is when you view all things with love. When you can do that, when you can really make yourself, that is one of the key paths to being in joy all the time, because you realize that only good things happen. So manifestations don't occur to you or around you, which encompasses all of the people that you're interacting with and love, because you're not projecting an attention unit of fear on something negative happening to them either. So it's great to learn this as a grandparent. I certainly didn't have this consciousness and perspective as a parent. I was in constant fear for the health and safety of my children, and basically it sucked. So it's a lot more fun to not be afraid of events that have not yet happened. And we all know the acronym for fear. It's false expectations appearing real, or future expectations appearing real. So we're literally projecting an illusion into the future, hoping that it doesn't occur, which of course is the focus of our attention. So guess what? Whammo. And look, I was afraid that Jay was going to get onto the call, and by God, look at that. Now he's here. I'll be darned. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning. It was a challenge, but I took the tech advice and rebooted, and
yeah,
so
well,
sent only a check.
That's Google. It's Google, man. I'm telling you, I have more trouble getting onto and utilizing this platform, and I guess because it's being increasingly utilized around the world, the tech challenges are increasing for everybody. So
no, that's not what's happening now. Because more and more people are doing it, they have more and more tech is on the Google platform to make it better and better and better, and it's just getting so good that this is the most ultimate platform that we could ever imagine.
Nice save, Arnie.
Yeah, good save. It's so great. I mean, if we could just get on it, we might be able to imagine it. That's like that stream of infinite abundance of money. If we could just get in it, it could be great, you know.
Visualize yourself there.
All right. Point taken, Candace. Is my attention predominantly focused on well-being?
No, one backward. You have to go one. Must attention to illness attract illness.
Oh. Okay, yeah, does that, okay. Okay, wow, thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't even want to read that one. I don't want to put your attention on illness. What's wrong with you, Dr. Oh, you're a doctor. Of course you want illness in the world. Oh, my God. All right, for you, I'll read it. You're our leader, so. Must attention to illness attract illness? Jerry asks, how much can we toy with these thoughts of illness? For instance, a person can watch on television and offer to come down for a free examination of some part of his or her body. And if the person says, oh, well, I think I'll just go do that. I feel fine, but why not since it's free? What are the chances of that leading to what you're talking about, a stimulation of thought and eventually an unwanted result? Abraham, nearly 100%. And you know, right now I'm so aggravated because that's exactly what they're doing on television advertising with all these damn drug ads. It's just disgusting, and if anything should be illegal, and I'm getting on my soapbox now about drugs and the drug cartel, then I'm not talking about the illegal drug cartel, I'm talking about prescription drugs. It's the greatest evil. Do you know that the #1 cause of death in the world for the last 10 years is prescription drugs taken as directed? Do they publish that result anywhere? Absolutely not, you know. But they're now warning us. They developed a vaccine for a thing called hepatitis B that attracts less than a tenth of a percent of the population of the planet. And yet now we have another vaccine that we're supposed to give our kids to protect them against an event that would not occur to them in 1,000 lifetimes, to make sure that they're protected against the potential that their 1,000th lifetime would be this one. You know, Jesus. I'm sorry.
Well, that's also the same thing that, you know, they offer you free samples or free test. But here's another angle to it, and I know I have some friends that they have insurance, and their insurance had some limitations, and they had like 2 months to do certain procedures, or they will lose the ability to do those procedures. So they were forcing even into surgery to do get the surgery done before the insurance. So they were pushing themselves into that too. So again, it takes a lot of courage for people, and I have a personal experience. I cough sometimes, and I have a lot of people around me that try to get me to get my throat examined. And I've had this cough for as long as I remember, at least 50 years or 60 years, and I'm still not dead. And I don't cough all the time. It comes here and there. But for me to hold my fort and say, no, I'm not doing that, it takes a lot of perseverance is what the way I usually call it, but I guess I'm going to change it to courage. I'm very courageous to not go down that other road.
Well, I'm going to change your attention because now that you mention that, I didn't even want to mention it, but I have not seen or heard you cough at least the last dozen times that I've been on calls with you. So, well done.
Great. And what I would like to just highlight here too, because we have a lot of passion for this. I can hear it, okay? Like the TV, blah, 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 you know. To me, it's almost like if we could switch that passion to being love to the process of embodying our truth, you know, like, okay, instead of, you know, fighting all what the doctors are doing or pharmacologists or whatever, I saw a program about the truth about cancer that was incredible to see how the natural healing is coming up, you know, and all these kind of other ways that we have to really see the truth here. But meanwhile, you know, like I feel I would like to switch that passion that I see and I have sometimes for, you know, all the bad things that is negative, whatever, to switch it to, you know, if I feel in love, like completely in love to my radiant body, to my awareness embodied in this body temple, you know, and that's what I focus on, you know, so then the rest start to lose, you know, the force that we are putting right there, you know. So we have a great example right here because I feel so attracted to that too, you know, and here's where I need to, okay, where I'm putting my attention here, let's see what it is that I want, you know. So I'll just say that to apply it present time because I'm learning like all of us here, you know. So thank you.
No problem. It's a great observation there. So,
I'd like to
I
throw in something there about the love that
sure.
I came across a really sweet little prayer, and it's called the Beautiful Prayer by Macrina Whitaker. And it's, Dear God, please show me the truth about myself, no matter how beautiful it is. Amen. So I just wanted to share that somewhere.
Well, I can understand why you found that prayer because it applies to you greatly.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. And to all of us.
Thank you. Well, Abraham says, yeah, it's nearly 100%. Attention to illness will create illness. Because of the attention to illness in your society, your diseases are running rampant. With all of your medical technology, all of the tools, all of the discoveries, there are more people who are critically ill today than ever before. And and I have to bite my tongue all the time with people that are caught up in this medical model of existence. And when you think so contradictorily to the currently accepted thought, voicing your opinion makes you look like the two-headed albatross in a sea of swans. So it's much easier to just keep your thoughts to yourself at that point and keep your thoughts pristine, because if you try and argue with these people, you're actually giving your attention to their illness model, and eventually the repetitive confrontation on it is going to cause you to have attention on the very model that you never did. I mentioned, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that I grew up with a consciousness that I had this incredibly well-functioning, healthy body that never got sick. And that's been my entire existence for 69 years. And so, I mean, and I don't go to die. I mean, I go once a year, I get a blood test because I have a holistic practitioner. And I think it is smart to just reinforce, not that something's wrong, but to just reinforce the constant effectiveness of the wellness regimen that I follow every day. And so, I do look and feel healthy.
I'll take up bacon also. That must be very
I
healthy.
eat bacon and sausage every day. I eat hot dogs. I eat lunch meat. I mean, you vegans out there are all probably puking on your screens right now. But you know what? That's my blood type, man. I'm Irish, meat and potatoes. And when I eat, if I stop eating meat, I get sick. It's really weird, So, and I'm smart about it. I don't eat more than a pound of bacon a day. And
We're getting no argument here.
yeah. Oh, all right. Anyway, you said, how much can we toy with it? And we say, you are very particular about what you eat and what you wear and what you drive, and yet you are not particular about what you think. We would encourage you to be particular about what you think. Keep your thoughts on the side of the subject that is in harmony with your wanting. Think about wellness, not about the lack of it. Think about being as you want to be rather than the lack of it. Your illnesses are not born and perpetuated only because of your negative attention to illness. Remember that illness stems from your feelings of vulnerability and guardedness. Train your thoughts on all subjects, not only the subject of physical health, in the direction of what you desire. And through the improved emotional state that you accomplish, your physical well-being will then be assured. I'm going to stop here today, and let's just open up and follow through with any remaining thoughts on our subjects. And Jay, I'm sorry that you came in late. This was actually a very stimulating session today, right from the very beginning. So I know you would have had a lot of wisdom to share with us from your, amazing life that you are enjoying right now.
Yeah, at least I got. It was a bit of a challenge, but I'm here.
Good. Welcome, welcome, and so nice to see all of us here. I mean, I do love it. But something that I want to highlight, Dr. Fran, to really integrate it even more, like it says, remember that illness stems from your feelings of vulnerability and guardedness. It's almost like the deep understanding, and we can go to this illness, financial illness or physical illness or mental illness or whatever, like to really embrace and to understand that if we are creating something like that, it's because at the core or some layer in our being is identified with vulnerability, with insecurity, with fear at the end. And for me to make peace with that, to don't deny it, like to really be aware of it and to accept our vulnerability and our insecurities with intention to let them go. I love when you were talking, Doc Frank, about the rockets of attention, yeah, consciously I can have my attention to where I want, but doesn't work because I have this, unconscious or even conscious, semi-conscious, let's say, layers of insecurity, being attacked, like the wall can hit me here, and depends of our, past lives, birth, or whatever conditioning we were talking before. So for me, it's almost like let's master how to love ourselves when we are vulnerable, when we feel insecure, and to support our physical body by forgiving our fearful thoughts and our insecurity, vulnerable feelings of being threatened and afraid, because that's what start to generate the illness, So let's go to the core of it. I just wanted to highlight that the way you ended, Dr. Frank. I see this very wise, and I don't know. Yes, Arne, welcome.
Yeah, that's very important, and I really appreciate how they write this book about that they address the healthy part, because if vulnerability and fear and wrong focus or detrimental focus is our what we usually do, and then suddenly we would open ourselves up to abundance financially, then the vulnerability is still there, and it will attack the health part. So dealing with the health part before we get into more energy of abundance saves us from, once we get the abundance, we don't need to sabotage it or the habit of going into the vulnerability has been deleted, has been gone. Instead of, if we didn't do that first, if we just get the money, then we will get sick and we will create these other problems because we still have the focus and unconscious need of sabotage, of feeling vulnerable, feeling attacked, feeling those things. So addressing that first and opening up our hearts, opening up our health aspects, then we become a good vessel for abundance as well.
I love it, Arne. Beautiful. And that for me is like, a practice. A practice to be aware of, my vulnerability with total permission, and not telling the story of it, but to realize that these are layers that are coming to the light. I'm coming, like the forgiveness process that you were talking, Doc Fran, that's how we forgive. I become aware of something and I'm willing to let that go. I'm very willing to let that go and to really focus on my true nature, to surrender to what I'm reading here because resonates inside, even if I don't know logically. You know that in your soul that resonates, that there is something inside that is so true, So thank you. I would like to know, Arne, if there's any question on the other side, because I know that I have some friends that I want to say hello from here.
I have not seen it.
Okay, so let's see if anybody else would like to comment, to really support the integration of this incredible discernment, about how do we put the attention on what we want and how do we let go the hook and the automatic attention that goes naturally, let's say, or most frequently to what we don't want. It's like it's so collective. The river goes on that direction. Yes, Celio, I see you opening the microphone.
And I do have questions. People have been writing things after.
Welcome, Celio.
I found extremely interesting when Dr. Fran talked before about the unit, the attention units. I think it's a fascinating subject. And just on that we could spend a full mastermind. But to me, in my understanding of those units, it's because it's so immediate. In any situation, it's like the fear, the oh my God, this could go wrong. It's like something ingrained in the subconscious in such a deep way. So exactly, the whole point to me is to embrace that, not to reject it, to say, oh no, 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 I don't want this to show up. No, I embrace that, I give love to that, I integrate that, and it becomes transformed almost magically into the opposite to lack. And to me, that's the whole point, is to understand that it's almost, I think it's divine, because it's very inspired by high consciousness. Understand that divine game of the attention units, and it's like a dance. Okay, you show up here, and I love you, I embrace you because you want to protect me, but at the same time, I have grown up, and in my understanding right now, I choose to be in the joy. I choose not to be in the lack. I choose to be in the joy, and that's so powerful because it becomes transformed, and the whole play, the whole game becomes a completely different game. And I'm experiencing that the last few weeks every day, and it's really fascinating because, like everything we work in these masterminds, when you have the daily proof in your daily situation, and basically I'm a businessman, in my businesses, and of course in my health, because what you said out is basic. I mean, if I don't feel well, if I don't feel in wealth of being physically, in my health, when money comes, when the abundance comes, I'm going to reject it. I'm going to play the game of rejecting it. It's subconscious. I've always said, no, I want the money. I want the money. And then when it comes, I'm sick, I'm stressed, so become that powerful transformer using these attention units concept. Dr. Fran, I'm so grateful that you gave us this concept today, because I think it's so powerful and so useful, and becomes such a point of enrichment in this process of this book, that I really, I express my enormous gratitude, because I think it's a basic, powerful, extremely important concept, and I'm ready to embrace it and to transform it. Yes, that's the power that we have.
Thank you, Celio. So beautiful. And Arne, you had some questions that you want to answer there, or you want to ask the group, or?
Yeah, it's not a question. It's two comments. One is about the guy in this secret movie that fell out of an airplane or whatever. His name is Morris Goodman, and he made a whole movie about himself, I guess, and it's called The Miracle Man. And somebody's curious more about that. And there was also a comment that all the breast cancer awareness or heart disease awareness, those are, we need to stop doing those, because they are just creating more of it, and those are just made from media, from businesses trying to make more money. So those were the comments on the side here.
Thank you. And I love that last comment here, because the way that we stop it the way that we stop it from my perspective or my belief system here is to stop it inside ourselves, because I'm not going to change it. Like, I like what you said, Doc, from before, I'm surrounded here in the community where I live, with people that are so dependent to pharmacology, and to medication, chronic medication forever. I mean, they really believe you have to take this forever, And to me, it's like I don't give zero attention to it, zero. Like, like no interested at all. And I am a doctor. I mean, I am a medical doctor that people sometimes ask me, like I don't work on that level, It's like, it's great, you choose whatever you want, but I do want to work on a deeper level for you to not have to take anything from the outside, because you are the source. You are one with source of well-being, let go the illusion here, and wake up, that's more my call, So, but I mean, what? Okay. Yes, Arne?
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, well, one thing that motivates me here is I encounter situations that I don't like, and it's very tempting to jump in and fight for it, or be right, or address it, or try to correct, or to get people to wake up, and something to shake them, shake the world around me. And I do that sometimes for a day or two, and then I end up with do I want, the last 2 days I've been in that energy myself. Is that how I want to spend the few more years of my life? Maybe I have 30, 40, 50 more years. Is that what I want to give to my life? So I'm motivated by saying, no, I don't want to waste my time, even though I'm kind of motivated. I'm kind of I'm kind of pushed, or when I see these things, I have a reaction, and but that reaction costs me a day in my life to live a life that I don't want to live. So I feel motivated. It's like, okay, whatever, but that is not. I don't want to waste my time. That's my words in my head, and I want to focus on what I want to create. So then I can kind of just delete that thing that has been making me respond, and look another direction into what I really want.
Thank you. Thank you, Arne. Yes, we progress here in our choice. And Doc Fran, besides, I know you have a lot to say and I love to hear it, but before we go out, I would love to do this another 1 minute, 2 minutes of this, close your eyes and feel the joy. So I would like you to guide us on that one again, okay? But go for it. I want to hear you.
Well, fine. Yeah, we can end on that same exercise, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, what was occurring to me as I was listening to the comments and reflecting on the different things, I mentioned earlier that we studied Dianetics and Scientology for 13 years, and of course that was all a body of knowledge and technology conceived of, compiled, and produced by Ron Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard. And many people believed he was a pariah and he was completely loony, etc. And in fact, his life progression actually mirrors the truth of what we are learning and studying and training about in our consciousness desires. And his whole focus was on sanity and creating, improving, and manifesting optimal sanity in life. And so his focus was so much on sanity that he became insane. He got what he focused on. And so I voiced earlier a belief or an opinion that I don't even try and counter, like when you're talking about it, nothing drives me crazier than this emphasis on breast cancer. I mean, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, pardon my French. But it is, and we know, and it's all based on this technology. The people that are pushing these programs know full well that whatever you war against, you get more of. So what a greater way than to mobilize whole groups of focus, health conscious, fitness conscious people on marching against and holding a war on breast cancer. And all these beautiful young women, now we've got an entire new pool of people that we've planted the seed of the fear of breast cancer. So God knows that we're going to end up with a percentage of them continually manifesting breast cancer going forward. So they're building in their own future securities. But so rather than rail against that and be viewed as, insane or crazy, I'm going to be just contrary enough that when I walk away from a group after having voiced my contrary opinion, the group consensus is going to be, You know, somewhere out there, a village is missing its idiot.
This is the new shaman, you know. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we are really arriving to our last time here together every Saturday. You know how beautiful is this time, and we are really here committed so that the universe knows we are focused and intentionally together here to open up to our well-being and to manifest that in prosperity in all aspects of our lives, okay? And I would love, Dr. Fran, if you can guide us again 1 more minute to finish with this sensation of joy that when I close the eyes in the beginning of the session, I felt, you know, this body with up, open arms, you know, and like, oh my gosh, so open and joyful and grateful. So I would love to end up that way so we can all go home happy and ready for a wonderful week, prosperous, and we will see you next Saturday.
All right.
December 6th already. We are coming to Christmas time. Okay, Dr. Fran.
Thank you, Monica. Yeah, I'm very happy to do this, and I think it may become a standing action for us because it certainly stimulated a good deal of talk today. Jay, when we opened up, I brought us back to the attention that the simple key to success in my observation and experience over the last year is to really focus on being joyful. That when we can get into a state of mind called joy or happiness, then only good manifestations can occur to us. And so in order to facilitate that, I started the call with a little exercise where I wanted people to focus on finding something that made them feel joyful. Focus on a thought that you can be grateful for. And we just finished, you know, this week was Thanksgiving, which we express gratitude for all of the great things or good things, or even a single good thing that we can find to focus on with gratitude and feel joy about. So what I'd like to do is take a minute now and end this call with everyone simply closing their eyes and locating a thought that makes you feel joyful. And it makes no difference what it is. You may have a flood of thoughts coming into your mind, but find a flood or find a single thought that makes you feel joyful, and then just focus on that feeling of joy and happiness flooding through your body right now. Thank you, everyone. A minute in silence seems
Delicious.
Like an eternity.
Oh, delicious.
See, a minute, we don't even miss a minute of speech. Isn't that funny?
It's beautiful. And I love that we get the practice to focus on something positive for longer and longer time, like we just did together, you know? So thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. See you next Saturday, December 6th already, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to be on the panel, that is more than fun here, remember to email Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com, and we can have you here playing with us. And thank you to all of you that you're outside there or seeing the recording. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, beautiful.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. See you next week. Enjoy.
Bye now.